Ross 30. Speaking of Rick Ross 30, let me just get it all out. This whole fighting my boy Ross and his guys in Canada.
This is Uncle Luke's response to the fight Ross was in Canada.
That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. That don't happen. That don't supposed to happen. And what's more unacceptable is when Mr. Drake liked the post. That also is unacceptable.
Yeah, Drake too much of a boss. I mean, even if whether he had involvement or didn't have involvement in that incident, I mean, liking a post, that's like incriminating yourself. Come on. You're getting too much money for that, Drake. Gotta be smarter. Gotta move smarter.
I expect more out of Mr. Drake. When there's violence, you don't condone it. You should be bigger than that. Mr. Drake, you should be bigger than that. When there's violence, you don't condone that. You don't like no posters and all that, because here's what happens. There's always a backlash of it all. Here's what happens when now you've inserted yourself, even if you were not involved. Half of the country think you set the man up.
Facts. 100% facts. I agree 100% with Uncle Luke. Like I said, whether he was involved or not, it makes it look like now that this was all set up and you was the mastermind behind it and calling the play.
They book a show in Canada, and you send your goons out there to agitate and start a fight with Ross. And y'all do what you do on the TV. Half the country think that. So you validate that even if you did not do that. You validate that by doing what? Liking. Please, don't call me while I'm on here. Don't call me while I'm on here, please. I'm looking at people like on. Can y'all hear me? Please, people, if I'm on live, don't call me. Don't call me. It's not the time to call me. When you see me on live, don't call me. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. Totally interrupt my whole thing, my whole chain of thought, where I was going at with everything. Don't call me when I'm on a live. Please, people. It's not the time to call me. Can you guys hear me good? Just totally interrupting my chain of thought. I do not like when people do that. It's like the time to call him. He's not doing anything. He's on live. So,
I feel him. Nothing worse than when you're recording a video, you get a phone call, and then, like I said, that throws your whole train of thought off, and you got to start the whole video over. So I feel him.
Oh, back to where I was at. When you, Mr. Drake, like the post, you just inserted yourself into violence toward Mr. Ross and his crew. Now, let me just say this. As a broker, a piece for Tupac and Biggie, I seen how this shit end, man. I mean, these other young guys, we're going to have a conversation with a lot of these other young guys who dying, these senseless deaths and these songs and all that. Y'all brothers are talented. Y'all got to understand, y'all talented. Y'all don't need that.
Talented, getting a lot of money to be beefing over some nonsense.
Y'all.
But I'm going to give y'all a little backstory real quick. I'm going to show y'all the actual video from Ross in Vancouver just to give y'all a little context. little bit hard to see the video. Um, Trying to get to come up a little big, but essentially, Ross is out there at this concert. Some people from Canada, we don't know if they were Drake people or not, started agitating. They get into a fight. Guy swings on Ross like he does hit him a little bit, does graze him on the chin. Really, it was Ross' bodyguard. Yeah, they stomped him out, and yeah, they really did him dirty. But other than that, yeah, it really wasn't too bad. All right, we're gonna go back to the Uncle Luke video and let him finish talking. Here we go.
All talent is fuck. Y'all getting people to buy the records. People are buying your records because they like the music. They like what you're saying in the records. So leave it there, young fellas. But now these grown ass ones right here, Mr. Drake and Mr. Ross. When you like the post and you on there doing your little, okay, it's a beautiful day in Canada, and you like the post, you just inserted yourself in some shit. Now, look how this all play out. I'll keep it 1,000. Look how it all play out. Oh, so half the country thinking that Ross done played the record, the Kendrick Lamar record, and he got jumped on because he played the Kendrick Lamar record. So now you got a whole West Coast of people, they at your head. Oh, that's what we doing? You don't need that, Mr. Drake. You don't need to be confined. You're too talented. I like you. I got friends that like you. I don't know you personally. Don't need to know you personally. But you're too talented to insert yourself in some shit that you're not really about. To have a whole coast.
Let me break that down. Basically, Luke trying to tell Drake, you really ain't about that life.
At your head, you don't want that. I don't want that for you. Now here's how this shit works out. Because again, look, I had the same conversation with Biggie and Pop. I'm probably one of the only few niggas that could talk to them straight up. I was on the road with Biggie when people would be singing Biggie songs in the stadium. Singing Pop this song while Biggie on stage. I seen this thing, and I've seen this man, like, man, I'm not really about that. I love Buddy. Biggie never jumped into the shit. Biggie never said anything. He was like, look, man, I'm leaving that shit alone, man. I ain't really on that. I talked to Biggie. I talked to Pop. I went to Suge nightclub as soon as Pop got out of jail and had a conversation with him on this shit here. Hey, Pop, look here, man.
All right, I'm gonna cut it here. We basically get the gist of what's going on here. Uncle Luke is basically trying to be a peace broker, trying to explain to Drake, like, look, something as simple as liking a post, you adding fuel to the fire. People already thinking that you was behind the hit, set it up for Ross to come out to Vancouver. Next thing you know, you got some goons that's trying to agitate and start a fight. I mean, these dudes is both too talented and both getting too much money to be beefing over some nonsense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.